Travis, always fun to talk with you. You are our comedian in residence at NFT.NYC. Everybody loves it when you moderate, when you share, when you speak, but you create a ton of things. You're a Web3 founder, you're a futurist, and there's so many cool projects that you've been a part of starting. And more important, you've built a thing that people, your ceiling is their floor, right? People build on top of the podcast and the different elements that you create, of course, oftentimes with Joel. For people that may not know who you are, can you please introduce yourself, tell the party people in the NFT.NYC community?
Right on. For one, big shout out to all the NFT NYC folks out there. Shout out to Jody, Rich, one of my favorite people in the space. And I think this is my third or fourth time coming to NFT NYC. So repeat offender. They keep having me come back and say words and stuff. And so I'm enjoying that. If you don't know, Joel Com and I started the Bad Crypto podcast about 5 years ago. We were the very first podcast to ever mention NFTs back in December of 2017. And we've been talking about Web3 since 2017 as well. We started the Nifty Show back in 2020. We've done that for over 2 years now. And collectively, I think we've interviewed about 1,500 different projects over the last 5 years. And that's an insane amount of projects, but we're able to glean a lot of wisdom from them. And we've advised a lot of amazing projects, including Animoca Brands for almost 3 years, Gala Games, Vulcan Forged, early investors in Splinterlands, right? And then Star Atlas. We see some of the best projects first, and then we jump on. Now, we did a lot of stuff on Ethereum. We did a first thing called a proof of listening protocol that we built on top of the POAPs. We were the very first people to actually use the POAPs ecosystem. And people were listening to our podcast, and we actually gave away an NFT NYC one, which was one of the very first POAPs. Actually, we have of the first 25 POAPs, like we have several of them, and I believe that's accurate. I know that we were some of the official front-facing ones, and so we really liked Ethereum. We were in Ethereum for a while, and then we got into Wax heavily, and the Wax ecosystem is built for NFTs. It's 200,000 times more efficient than Ethereum. So during that big boom, when Bored Apes came out and some of those other ones, Cool Cats and VFriends, we did jump in to get some VFriends, but I sort of stayed away from Ethereum because I don't like those gas fees. I don't think they're good for the consumer. Now, who would have thought that Bored Apes would have become worth $500,000, right? Although they're on sale right now for only $250,000. So it's just the space has evolved. We have, been part of this from the beginning, helping influence the influencers around NFTs. A lot of people got into NFTs because they saw what we were doing early on with Blockchain Heroes, which was a set that we launched back in 2020. And very cool, bcheroes.com. I think there's still some of the coolest NFTs in the space. Actually, we launched another one recently back in January called Retro Rebellion. And all of our blockchain heroes are in packs. You open up the pack and they have multiple assets inside that pack. And they go from common, uncommon, rare, scarce, epic, legendary, mythic, and secret. And then some other one-on-ones and stuff in there. And we were doing some really cool stuff you can't really do on Ethereum. And our mythics and legendaries of this set, each character has its own synthwave original song. Each one has its own theatrical 30-second video animation describing what that character is. Nobody's done that. And, we did that on Wax. And so a lot of people haven't heard of that, but that's okay. We've come back around. We've done stuff on a lot of different chains. And I think we've helped sell out 12, 13 projects so far, including our own. And we work on a lot of cool stuff. Joel, my partner on this, he's actually working with Sylvester Stallone on Planet Sly. They're launching some really cool stuff over there. I'm working on a project called Ancient Wisdom.io, which is essentially gamifying mindfulness, general well-being, helping people cure the blah blah in their mind so they can be more present. They can help them heal themselves, heal their relationships, and then we can help heal others with some of these tools, and then help heal the planet in some ways, because the vibration of the planet is so full of fear right now. We got to elevate, man, and get ourselves out the funk, because we're in a funk, Mr. Ian.
Well, you are a funky man. There's so
I
many
took a
questions
shower yesterday, so now I don't want to hear that.
Not that kind of funk.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, here's a question I have. 1,500 interviews that you've done with Joel, plus so many other things on top of that. You get access to a bunch of diverse projects, diverse and innovative, creative ways of building communities, of going to market. Is there a project or maybe a couple or several that you'd like to give a shout out to and let the community know about things maybe they've never been able to see because they don't follow different projects on Wax, or any projects that kind of come to mind that are really unique, innovative, creative, diverse that you've seen you'd like to let us know about?
Yeah, there are a few. There's some on Wax. Alien Worlds has been doing some amazing stuff for a while. Their token price got to be huge. There's another one out there. It's the Void token. They're creating the Grand Theft Auto of this. They got their own token. Onissus is their name of their company. They're doing some really cool stuff. Also on the Ethereum chain, I think what Psychedelics Anonymous has done has just been phenomenal. It's led by a really great leader with some vision. You can see a lot of these projects out there, Ian, they're led by people who maybe don't have business sense. They've not ran a business before, or and so they're thinking, hey, I got this idea, this project, and they don't run it like a business, and so they run it into the ground. And so, the projects that are ran by people who know kind of what's up, those are the ones that are going to be around. I think we're in a place like it reminds me of the end of the 20th century, and when the tech bubble was happening in Silicon Valley, and some of these ridiculous projects like what was it, like something web van or something, where they would come and deliver food. They were just 20 years early, right? And there's like some weird pet ones and some other ones. There's some just ridiculous ideas that got millions of dollars in funding, and they just completely tanked. And there was a few that remained, right? We saw eBay still alive, Amazon's alive and kicking, thriving, like good Lord. Amazon is a beast. Apple, which is not originally from that part of the internet, they've been around since the 80s, but they've been killing, actually since the 70s, they've been killing it, right? They, especially since then, because I remember this in 2001, Apple was worth less than $11. Right. And I snagged a bunch of that, and then I sold it way too soon. But, you can just see that we're in this time right now as Web 2 is sort of coming to an end and Web 3 is becoming more prevalent. There's going to be a few of these projects that remain long term. People go, wow, well, which one of my shit coins are the ones that are going to be worth a lot down the road, Ian? And, I don't know. You got to be like, well, who are the leaders at these, right? I posed this at a brainstorm session the other day. Was talking about this, and somebody said that Polkadot, really interesting project. Why? Well, because it's sort of a layer zero where these parachains are built on top, and all these other blockchains like Ethereum, Solana, and all these can speak to each other through using Polkadot. And Polkadot was created by Gavin Wood, one of the original creators of Ethereum, right? And so you go, wow, okay, so that one probably has a pretty good chance. Depending on what XRP, what it's going to do with Ripple and the SEC, that's coming to an end soon. From what I understand, it's going to be either good news or amazing news. Now, it's not financial advice, but I looked at the price and it's around 40 cents, and which is really low. So I imagine those will probably be around. Bitcoin's going to be around. Ethereum's going to be around. Who else is going to be around? Binance probably going to be around, right? So maybe as this market is kind of shifting and things are happening, right? I know we're all focused on NFTs, but if you're in NFTs, you also like crypto. So you want to pay attention to who are those ecosystems that are going to be around as this space evolves over time, next 3 to 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
So I want to ask you about anonymous leaders and doxed leaders. And what I'd love to hear from you is, what positive things do you feel about the leaders that remain anonymous, and what are positive reasons for leaders to dox themselves and be known? Because obviously we can say negative things about both of these camps potentially, but what are some things that you find to be good about either of these, and why might a leader choose to dox himself or remain anonymous?
What's up, docs? I think that, I won't normally invest in projects too much if they have an anonymous team, right? Why? Because I want to know what they've done before. Maybe they pulled some shenanigans in the past, right? Let's talk about Luna. Like we didn't know that Do Kwon had pulled some shenanigans in the past, and he was even doxxed. But so if I don't know who the team is at all, then I'm not going to invest too heavily in that project. I like to do a little due diligence into who I'm working with. So, I think, the benefits of saying who you are gives people a greater trust, and it's less likely that you're going to intentionally pull the rug if you're doxxed, right? Because you're like, dude, I'm Travis Wright. I'm Ian. I got a reputation. I'm not going to just pull the rug on this thing, right? Sometimes things happen and you're not able to execute as you would like to long term because just the nature of how things are and the space and how things change. But if it's an intentional rug pull, that's a big no-no. So I just think it's important to know who you're dealing with there, Mr. Ian. So if that's your real name.
I hope so. Is there?
That doesn't really look like a tree house to me. I think
it's true, man. This tree house is built around a 150-year-old oak tree that I used to play on when I was a little kid, my boy's age. And
really?
Yeah.
You're not actually in a tree. You're by a tree.
I feel like I'm in a tree. I mean, this is as close to in a tree as I can be.
Okay, but you're still just by a tree.
Well, you got to walk through the tree. You have to walk up the stairs through the tree into the door.
I need to see this to fully believe what you're trying to sell me.
I'm about to unplug it.
I don't know if this tree is fully doxxed or not. I don't know who this tree is. I don't know what chain this tree was built on. I don't even know what we're talking about right now. You lost your question, and I just totally derailed it.
I'm pulling us back in. DYOR, bring it back. Right? Do your own research is often said. But what's not often said is where to do the research or where are some resources by which people can research. Like, okay, go to the Discord, go to the Twitter, but where might you encourage people to have a starting point by which they would do research on a project or a team? If somebody asks you, okay, do my own research, where do I start?
Right. Well, for one, hopefully they've doxed themselves on the website. You can go look at them on LinkedIn, right? You want to go see who those people are. If you're looking at the project, then maybe you want to check out Icy Tools, Rarible Tools. There's one called Nansen, NANSEN.AI, which is an amazing tool. I'm not financially connected to them at all, but they give you amazing data about which projects looks like they're trending, which ones have been sold and which ones are moving, what's going on, the state of those ones. So there's a lot of really great tools out there. There's some other ones. What is it? It's what is the name of that one tool that it's a really premint.xyz is a really great tool if you're trying to connect with your audience and get people, get them a whitelist and get them all connected. I do think it's missing email. Email to me is the most important thing. I know you want to have, because here's why. So I participated in a mint the other day because I got added to it on the captain's list. I was like, it's like ahead of the allow list. It was the captain's list, right? And whenever they put me on the list, they said, what's your Ethereum address and what's your email address? What'd they do? They sent me a calendar invite to remind me that the mint was happening. So what did I do? I didn't forget that the mint was happening. I was there immediately. Guess what I would have done if they had to send me the email or the invite? I would have forgotten all about it. So how many people are part of your community who have good intentions, like they want to be part of this? That's why you got to think like a marketer, right? If you, in most people, that's one reason why Joel and I came in this space 5 years ago. It's like, look, we got each 25 years of digital marketing experience. I got in, Web 1 when I was, obviously when I was like, 4 years old, because I'm clearly only almost 30 right now. And very young and handsome, debonair, and charming. But you realize that a lot of these projects have no clue how to do marketing. And here's the thing, though, Web3 is a totally different marketing beast. Like I still don't think I'm good at marketing in Web3 yet, because it's the community building. It's getting people on Discord, connecting them over here, doing Twitter spaces, doing your clubhouses, partnerships with other Discord servers, giving those servers, whitelist spots for your thing, finding creative collaborations, creating media with partners, doing all. It's like, it's really is pulling all the marketing stuff together, but it's in a Web3 way. And if you mess up along the way, then the community is probably going to hate you. right? So it's like, oh, you messed up and you're done. So it's like, wow, it's kind of unforgiving, but very collaborative. Like the most friendly, helpful people in the space, but you F up once and you know, you're pretty much, your reputation is soiled, so you say.
So reputation.
Mm-hmm.
How can people be careful with their reputation? And how can they be careful about the decisions by which people judge them, assuming there's nothing nefarious, and they have good motives? What are some landmines that good intentioned folks need to be mindful of that can cause things to blow up on them? And what are some things that put wind in the sail and allow them to be more successful in reinforcing that they have integrity and that they're a great team or leader to invest in and follow?
Well, I think your track record kind of speaks for you a little bit, right? So if you've done good stuff in the past and people assume you're going to continue to do good stuff, that's why I think doxing is probably a pretty good idea, to let people know who you are and what you've done. Just because you have a Bored Ape doesn't mean you're a good person, right? Doesn't mean that it's like, oh, I'm Bored Ape 7439. Shout out to that person, whoever randomly that is. Now they're going to go, oh, Bored Ape 7439. Travis Wright thinks you're an asshole. Actually, I don't even know who you are. I'm just throwing that number out. But you know, just because you got lucky and bought a Bored Ape for, 0.04 ETH or whatever it was, and now it's worth 160,000, doesn't mean you're smart. It means that you happen to be on the right clubhouse, hearing the right person at the right time, and a cool project that you got in, and it happened to take off, right? I probably would have sold it around 5 ETH or 10 ETH. I'd be like, holy cow, I can't even believe it. It's this high. Oh my God. Of course, I would did that with Bitcoin too. Oh my God, it's $1,000. I got it at $1. I'm getting out of this. I'm a genius. Right. So, I mean, what are some of the pitfalls? There's so many different pitfalls, man. Like, it's just put your heart in the right place. Make sure that you're doing right by your community. Try to deliver delight to them. Try to make yourself present to them and answer questions. Right. And what I've learned is that the best leaders in this space are the ones that are, active in their communities the most. Right. But that's not the be all say all. As Gary Vee said this, which resonated with me. It was like, remember when the Chicago Bulls were great? They had an amazing community of fan base, and everybody loved the Chicago Bulls. And Michael Jordan leaves, and they start to suck. And what happened to their community? It left, right? They were gone for a long time. So, moral of the story: don't suck. Continue to add value. Get yourself a nice roadmap, long-term timeline where you're always finding ways to add new value. What that's going to do, that's going to increase the value of the floor. It's going to increase, the perception of your community and of your project to people. And it's just going to help you do good stuff along the way.
Well, I can't imagine a better thing to end on than what you just said. Everybody that's watching this, thanks for your attention. This is a fast conversation. I suggest you start in the beginning and watch this again. There's so many things that Travis has just shared with us. And there's new things, Travis, you just shared with me I didn't know. And so I think this is a really valuable moment, and that folks should share this conversation with others. Travis, excited to spend time with you in Times Square next month. And as always, I thank you for making me laugh. My face hurts a little bit right now.
Real quick though, before you wrap it up, because I can sense the hook is coming. We've not actually talked about ancient wisdom. I think we talked about that in the pre-call.
Take your time.
And a little bit on the pre, so we missed it on the end. Here is that, I'm really working on gamifying mindfulness and well-being, and we're doing it through shamans, witches, and medicine women and healers and whatnot. And over time, you're able to level up your shaman. And every time you level it up, you get unlocked new things, new wisdom, new areas for you to start learning about. And what's cool is if you have one of each type of our shamans, and there's 7, there's earth, water, wood, metal, air, fire, and ether, right? If you get one of each of them, then you're actually going to be able to create your own historical change maker from throughout time. Somebody who inspired you, except you can't have Nikola Tesla, because I got him, and Leonardo da Vinci has spoken for, and then John Lennon has also spoken for, and Bob Marley, and there's a couple other ones. I think Mary Magdalene and Bruce Lee. But there's so many amazing people throughout the history of time, and we're going to create a custom one for you, and then we're going to send you a 40 by 30 canvas of that unique print with an NFC chip in the lower right corner, which you can then use your phone and boop, scan it. And then every day it's going to give you either a mantra or an affirmation or something to inspire you each day, right? And the more often you do that, you get level up points to be able to earn an evolution token, where then you can then evolve your shaman to that next level and keep the thing going. And we're taking 50% of our proceeds. We're putting it in a vault. We're going to be making investments in that vault in really great Web3 projects that are doing good stuff. The resources from those investments are going to go back into the vault, right? For us to go out and do good stuff. And if you don't have all 7 of those shamans, that's okay. You can still get a 40 by 30 canvas print of your shaman. You just got to pay for it, right? But if you got all 7 of them, we're going to actually gift that to you. And then eventually what's cool, Ian, is we got an amazing Unity dev team that are going to be able to take our shamans and convert them into 360 Unity versions that you can use in the metaverse, and we'll have it tethered to your phone. So in AR, you will have your shaman and eventually a guardian, maybe a guardian angel or your spirit animal will be following you around. You're going to have your own stuff, a digital posse, an entourage following you around everywhere you go virtually, that people will be able to see with their camera. And then also some really cool AI stuff to create metahumans out of some of these personality archetypes. So we're doing really cool, fun stuff. We do a thing every Wednesday called Web3 Wisdom Wednesday. It's a Twitter space that happens at 9 p.m. on Eastern time. And we're actually we're going to be connecting the Clubhouse as well. So if you're on Clubhouse, we'll be able to do both of them on a simulcast. So if you want a little good vibes and connect with people, talk about NFTs and Web3 and all the things, and help level up your vibe a bit, then join us.
Okay. I have one more question I want to ask you about laughter and comedy.
Yeah.
Why is laughter and comedy and joy and gladness a great bridge to education? Because one thing that you and Joel have done so well has helped all the people that listen to the podcast jump on Twitter Spaces, jump on Clubhouse. You've cultivated an atmosphere of fun and of lightheartedness. And I feel like it's one of the reasons why you've been so effective in not only teaching people, but also bringing the creators and the projects in. So can you speak to that for a bit? Because there's lots of people in our industry that are maybe a little damn serious and they need to be thoughtful of the benefit of being lighthearted. So can you speak to that before we wrap up?
Well, I would say this is there's a really key connection point between your brain and your heart. And your brain is one piece of it. But if you can merge thought and emotion into one general feeling of well-being and really kind of intend that in which you want from your heart and not just your brain, your heart is like 100 times more powerful energy of helping you manifest that and what you want, right? And so I think when you're laughing, it's sort of and you're feeling good. It's a combination of it's thought plus emotion is being merged. And when you're laughing, you are in the present moment, right? When you're laughing, you're like, ha, 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 ha. You're here right now laughing, right? You're not worrying about a problem. You're not thinking about anything else. You just heard a hilarious joke and now you're reacting to that. And so I think that helps break down barriers for people. And I don't really know any other way. Like I've been like this pretty much my whole entire life. Like if I think of something funny to say, I blurt it out. And when I blurted it out in grade school, I would disrupt the class, and I would never mean. I don't insult people and try to make other people laugh at other people's expense. It's always like something funny, around the scenario. I've never really been rude, but I would get punished regularly to go out in the hall because I was disrupting the class with my jokes. And then Principal Cody would come out and he would be like, Travis, you're out. What are you doing? Come with me. Those were back in the days where they would SWAT the students. So I would literally have to get to the point where I'd be like, is this joke funny enough to get my ass slapped? Yeah. Blurt. Go out in the hall. All right, I'm going to get a SWAT. But that was funny. Everybody, I got about 85% of the people laughed at that one. So that was good. So I was like, that's worth an ass.
I'm so glad I asked that.
So at least now when I blurt it out, I make people feel good and crack jokes, but I don't got to worry about that ass whooping anymore. Bring it on, Principal Cody. I got you now, you old bastard. He's dead. Don't worry about it.
Shout out to Principal Cody.
He reached his maker already, Mr. Daniel Cody.
Oh man, Travis, it is a joy to have you be part of the community. I really honor you as an individual and you and Joel as a partnership. Really
Thank you, brother.
incredible all that you've accomplished, and I believe the best is yet to come. You have so
That's
much
so
more
great.
in the tank, and just a
Yeah, and
deep,
I
deep
want to
love.
honor you and your Bono U2 glasses, because without them, I wouldn't recognize you.
Yeah, I know. I take these things off. I'm just a normal
Dude,
guy
I
with a
have no
beard.
idea. Like, I've never seen you before. I don't know who the hell you are. There we go.
My
We're
friend,
ending this on laughter.
I salute you.
appropriate is that? Keep it
So
nifty.
fun.